Who has the power? Who controls the United States economy? Those are two different questions right there. We're going to be answering who has the power. Now, this is a subjective understanding of who has the power. In reality, I do not know who precisely has the power. But what I can see is politicians have the power. And what we have to think about here is, what is the definition of power? What are we talking about when we say power? Because you can say this person has the power, that person has the power. I say politicians have the power. The ultimate power for the United States comes from the politicians, the president and the politicians. What is power? Power, the ability to move an object. That is power. And in this case, the ability to move humans. So, who has power and control over us? The United States does not have that much control over us, but it has a system in place to control us if we get out of line. But that doesn't always work, but for the most part it does. So who has the power? The politicians have the power. The president and the Congress have the power. How do they exercise this power? Well, there is a system. There's a power system, kind of like a power supply of the United States. You have the Congress and you have the president, and the way they control or move people is through laws. That's basically it. The only thing that's moving us are laws. If Congress makes it illegal to wear a red shirt, they're essentially moving whoever makes red shirts can no longer make red shirts. And if there's a country that sells us red shirts, they're going to have to change the color of that shirt for us to buy that. Now, how does Congress and the president exercise their power? Well, here's the system. The presidents and Congress come up with the laws. Then they vote on the law. And they pass the law. And what ends up happening is, if the Supreme Court agrees with this, then it becomes a law. And it is up to the Supreme Court to uphold that law. Now, everyone breaking the law, which is every single person in the United States, whoever breaks that law is punished by that law. So that's the person who has the power, the politicians and the judges. So the system is like this. The president, politicians, the Congress, they make the law. The judges enforce the law, or the judges keep the law, and the prosecutors prosecute people who do not obey the law. And then you have police officers enforcing that law. And this is where power comes from. That's basically all the power that the United States has over us, is their laws. Now, recently something happened in the chain of law where the lowest arm or weakest arm of power rejected to enforce the law. This is where you have police not following or keeping or enforcing the law. They're not doing their part. So there is a split in power. Now, this is a bad thing because it shows weakness in the power system. This is like a short in a power supply. If police do not enforce the law that Congress and the president make, and that the judges agree to keep, then the system is weak. It's crumbling. There's no real respect there. There's no. It's starting to show a crumbling effect of a country. So there are ways to combat these shorts. And when I say shorts, I'm talking about like an electrical circuit. When there is a short and something's not going the right way, there's a way to fix those shorts. Number one, you get the chief of police to enforce the laws. And they have people that they have the chief of police has people that they enforce the laws. He says, all right, we're going to enforce these laws. It's up to the chief of police to make sure those laws are enforced. Let's say the chief of police does not want to enforce those laws, and it tells its police to stand down. Well, guess what? There's a break. There's a circuit. There's a break in the circuit. There's a short. So what power does the president and Congress have? And judges? Well, they have a lot of power. Number one, they control the money. Washington controls the money, controls the paycheck of the chief of police. They could fire him. They could fire the chief of police, cut off his money, and get another chief of police. And that's how you solve the problem. It's like changing a little component in a circuit board. Now, who usually fires them? Usually the governor or the mayor fires the chief of police, depending on the city or county. And that's how you fix the problem. What we're seeing is that the mayors are not acting quickly enough. There's almost like a fumbling, and there's too many circuits. There's too many shorts in the system that are causing problems. Congress is writing laws. Some judges do not keep those laws or are biased towards those laws. So now we have corrupt judges. So what can a person do when there's a corrupt judge? Well, there's usually always someone in top of everything. So the judge could also be fired or disbarred or whatever they call it. So everyone can be replaced. If judges do not keep the law, it's up to the Congress and presidents to fire them, or the governors or whoever is in control of them. So that's the power that we have in the United States. Now, who controls the politicians? If someone controls the politicians behind the curtains, that person has power. Usually, businesses with money can influence politicians to make certain laws. So that can also be people that have power. Money. Anybody who has money can buy a politician. Now, it's illegal to do all those things, but they're all the way in the top, and who really is going to hold them accountable but other politicians? And if they're all in cahoots, they're not going to be turning on each other. They're going to be letting things slide. So that's the power system that we have in the United States, to my understanding.